Hello, everyone. It's Sam Elamin here from Imbue Network. Imbue is a crowdfunding blockchain built on top of Polkadot. It allows anyone from any walk of life to submit and fund ideas they believe in the most. I'm so excited to be able to share this demo with you today because we've got the full flow going. Starting off from our public board, at Imbue, we're setting the standard of what accountability and transparency look like in the space. That's why we're working off this public board that everyone in our community can see. And not only can you see who the devs are, but what they're working on and how long they've been working at it for. This level of transparency is just unprecedented in our space. So for today's demo, I've created a project. I, Sam, the initiator, have created this project, Project A. It's an awesome project. I'm asking for 100 Imbue tokens, and in return, for each Imbue token I get, you get X. Now, that X can be anything I, as an initiator, want. It's up to me. I have the full freedom to define what the return of investment is. So, for example, I could be setting up an online shop, and I'll say anyone who contributes to me gets 30% off sales for life. Or I could be an NFT artist and X would be the NFT I'm going to mint to people who contribute for me. So this is what I mean about it being open to everyone and anyone. You have the full freedom to define your return of investment. And that directly answers the most popular criticism of Web3 that it lacks utility. This really impacts people's lives. Now, what I wanted to highlight is this 100 Imbue tokens. You might not necessarily want to get funded in Imbue, which is why we chose Polkadot. It allows us to fund in any native Polkadot currency, any stable currency, and through bridges, any currency from other chains. This level of flexibility is really what makes Polkadot unique among other blockchains. So for Project A, we've got three milestones. I want 30% when I hire the team, I want 30% when I build the website, and I want 40% when I launch the product. So I go over here and I go to my section, and this tells me the projects I'm invested in, or the projects that I own. So what I want to do now is once I've submitted the project, this is where the council comes in. So the council role is really to look at projects, try and understand who the team are, whether they have the abilities and expertise to deliver on their ideas, and whether or not the milestones are good enough to get investment. So I'm going to switch over personas now, and now I'm acting as Claire. Claire is an imbuer who really believes in me, so she contributes to my cause. And what's happening now is we're saving the contribution onto the chain. Hopefully, when that gets saved at the next block, what happens is the chain will recognize that a contribution's been made. So when that happens, this is when the role of the council comes in again to approve the fundraise. So the reason why we have the council come in at such early stages is because we need to define what success looks like. So in the first stage, when I have a project asking for 100 Imbue tokens, what happens if I get 80? What happens if I get 75 or 90? We need to work with the community to define what success looks like. And then on the second stage, we have the council come in to ensure there was no collusion. What happens if there was a low voter turnout? So we're trying to work with the community to define what the threshold should be. What happens if 70% of the voters come up instead of 100%? Should we approve that milestone or not? So we're going to reduce the role of the council as we go on, but just for these early stages, we want to make sure that we have the foundation in place to hand over the power over to the community. So the council will be made out of 7 people, three being community voted and four being core team members, and obviously those numbers change throughout time. So if I go back to the project, I put back my Sam hat as the initiator and I refresh the page, we'll see that the project's been approved because I match my contributions. So now I'm going to submit my first milestone. What happens now is I then submit to the chain the fact that I've actually done the work. to the work that I've said I'm going to do. I've hired my team. So if I switch back the hat back to Claire and I refresh that page, it automatically knows that some milestone's been submitted and it is time to vote. So I'm going to vote yes. I saw the team. I'm happy with the progress, so I want to vote yes to allow the initiator, being Sam, to withdraw their funds. So switching again back to Sam, if I refresh that page, actually before I refresh that page, if I go back to Explorer, I want to show you that all these things are happening on the chain. You can see all the stuff that I was talking about actually happen. And what we're looking at here is the Polkadot.js UI. It's a very powerful tool. Unfortunately, it's a tool that is not the most intuitive, and that's why we built our dedicated UI. See that the milestone's been approved because the contributors have voted yes, and that allows me to look at my balance. Right, I want you to see the balance here. I've got 13.7 Imbue tokens. I'm gonna issue the withdrawal request, sign that transaction, and then hopefully when that withdrawal gets successful, it's currently saving onto the chain. When it gets successful, I'm able to jump onto back to the chain to show you the event that was raised initially. Project's funds withdrawn by Sam. So everything's transparent and on the chain. And if you go back to the account section, you'll see it's 42. It's not exactly 43 because there are some fees that are taken for each transaction. But yeah, that's the 30% that I was eligible for added to my balance. So that's the entire flow end to end, which is really cool. The next thing we're working on is the tendering. Imagine if Claire was someone from a big company or a big brand, and there's so much interest in the Web2 space about exploring Web3, but they lack the resources. Sometimes they lack the expertise. Sometimes they don't even know where to start. This is where Imbue comes in. Instead of the expensive process of finding the right agency and finding the right people to build something on a Web3, where you don't even know if you're going to get anything or get it in time or even get something resembling what you wanted. Imbue allows them to submit briefs. So Claire could have submitted a brief for Project A and defined her budget, and then anyone from anywhere in the world can submit proposals against that brief. And then Claire or that Web2 company can choose the proposal they find the most attractive, and fund them safely, knowing their funds will only be given once they have said their say on the milestones. So it opens a massive new market for us. So I'm really excited about the future. I'm so excited about building. You can tell. So please join our Telegram. We're about to launch our Discord server. So get in touch, get your feedback in, because we will build a better Web3. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.